What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on I had a conversation with a guy earlier, and he was saying that because Caitlin Clark is not having the season that she that people expect her to have. The team I think is like 500. They're 7-7, their record. And he was saying that Caitlin Clark is no longer, she's not the face of the league, right? And in my opinion, I think definitely I disagree. Now, even though, like I said, Caitlin Clark is having a shooting slump, like her last 3 games, she hasn't shot, you know, her jumper hasn't been falling the way, people expect it to, or the way she would like it be falling. But I just think that this right here is just, it's just a learning process. You know, um, Sometimes your jumper don't fall, right? But what the thing is, when being a professional, you have to find different ways to affect the game, and affecting the game with her passing, I think she can do that. Also affecting the game with like the pace, getting easy baskets. So if her jumper is not falling, then she can she use her penetration and stuff like that. But the thing is, you as a player, what she don't want to do is start to doubt herself and to go into like and go to a funk. So now you have Nafisa Collier, and then you have what is the other young lady name? Asia Wilson. Now, both I think Nafisa Collier is right now. She's like the favorite to win the MVP. Like she's right now, she's the front runner as far as like in the MVP race. Then you got Asia Wilson, who is she's in the race. Her team also, I think, right now is 7-7. So you got two young ladies that are Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson. They plan on, their team is around 500, depending on if the Aces won since the last time I checked the standings, right? So right now, as it stands, it's Nafisa Collier. But like I said, just because Caitlin Clark is having a shooting slump, that don't mean that she's not the face of the league. I think what right now what's going on is just a growing process. And because Caitlin Clark can do so many different things, she'll be able to affect the game in different ways, and I even brought up like a few videos ago, like I was impressed with, like, she had a couple blocks one game, they won, that game that they won. She had a couple block shots and she had rebounds. So she's that's a good sign. Like when you see a player who contributes all over the court instead of just one way, then that lets you know that that player is just a ball player. That player is a ball player because they can affect the game in more than one way. And so once Caitlin Clark learns how to, I think her biggest issue is not the fact that she's in a shooting slump, but I think her problem is their half court offense, right? They have to be more consistent in their half court offense. Once that half court offense start to click, then I think that that the Indiana Fever team will be even more uh they'll be more dangerous, right? And so that's another thing. And then you have to take into account like adjustments and stuff like that. Like when they come out of halftime, this is where I think a lot of times they have like a fall off. When they come out of halftime in that third quarter, teams are making adjustments to the way that the Fever are playing. And so they have to also know and be able to adjust to the adjustments that the team is making against them. And a lot of times with a veteran team, when you're playing against veteran teams, that's where a veteran team will get younger teams. Like they'll come out and they'll make an adjustment, and a younger team a lot of times won't be able to adjust to the adjustments that you just made. So right now, um, like I said, it's a learning process. It's still a working process with the Indiana Fever, but yeah, they just need to be able to make adjustments. Um, Watch their make sure that they find different ways to score consistently in the half court. But other than that, she Caitlin Clark is still she putting butts in the seat. So if she's putting butts in the seats, how can she not be, despite her shooting slump, how can she not be like the face of the league? Even though, like I said, Nafisa Collier is she's having a great season. She's leading, her team, the Minnesota Lynx, I think they like about 11-1, something like that. Let me I haven't checked the stats, but last time I checked the stats, I think they was 11-1, you know. But other than that, man, shoot. The, I just think it's gonna take time for the Indiana Fever to learn how to to win. Fans, are riding this emotional roller coaster. They want to see immediate results. They want to see the Indiana Fever be like in championship contention right away. And I don't think it's going to happen like that. I think the Fever have so many different they have some things that they got to work out in house. They have some bigger issues that they have to work out in house. And I think with the situation with DeWanna Bonner not being happy there, DeWanna Bonner from recent reports said, they saying that DeWanna Bonner wants to go to the Phoenix Mercury. So I don't know what happened with this team, where as though DeWanna Bonner wants to leave the Fever after not even playing, half the season. She wants out. So I don't know. There's some things going on, with this Fever that I think that they're gonna have to they're gonna have to work out and overcome these things. But it's still it's Caitlin Clark, she's the one that everybody tunes in to see for right now. You would hope that other teams, because you got some, like I said, Nafisa Collier is just balling out. Who else is Asia Wilson is balling out. I like the way that Paige Beckers is like, you can see the improvement in Paige Beckers. Like, she's getting better every game. And not just those women that I mentioned, but you have some other women around the league who are just really doing their thing too, right? And so hopefully the league will be able, people will be attracted to those other teams too, and just be able to enjoy some good basketball. And you know, that's basically, because you don't want to have like the whole league just depending on one player um for support, for ratings and stuff like that, and just all of the drama and the attention just surrounding Caitlin Clark. You don't want the league to just be built on that when there's just so many other great, basketball players in the league. I like what's going on with this new team, this expansion team, the Valkyries. As a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna do a video on the Valkyries. The Valkyries are a 500 team. I think their record is 7-7. And this expansion team, nobody expect them to be where they are at this season. You would expect them, being an expansion team, you would expect them to be like at the at the bottom of the league, but they right smack in the middle of the league, with Indiana Fever and Las Vegas Aces. They in the smack of things. And I don't know who this coach is for the Valkyries. but from what I hear, she's doing a really good job. So I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make a point of looking into this team, watching some of their games, and see, like what they doing over there. But that's my take on it. I just wanted to address that situation as far as people just saying that, um, Caitlin Clark is still not, she's not the face of the league. And, just give us some time. The team is still trying to gel together. And, so that, they'll be able to, to get it going once they get this chemistry thing worked out and learn how to win in other ways. Like when they can't run, it just seems like they are they are a different team when they can't run. So with that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.